So today I am doing a bit of a different kind of video. I'm going to be talking about a kid who I will be coaching this season. He's a first year wrestler, but he's also a senior, so he only has 1 year of wrestling, and he's a 215 pounder. I'm not sure if he ever wrestled anyway as a kid, but based on what he's told me, he's a first year wrestler. Based on how he's been wrestling, when he first started, he's a half Nelson, how to defend a half, anything of that nature. And I just wanted to talk about my thinking process of the techniques I will be teaching him, how I'm going about coaching them, and the goals for the season, right? And this is going to be a series, so I'm going to be updating you guys throughout the season, just so you guys can see it, just some different kind of content that from what I've posted on the page so far. Posting a high school kid in their journey is only going to be a year. The goal for this season is for him to place at state, right? So obviously he knows that if he qualifies for state, if he only qualifies for regionals, right? If he puts in the work and he does well, no matter what, we're proud of him. So not trying to put that extra pressure on him. It's just when I first started coaching when I was 18, when the senior came, it was the first year, it was kind of like we don't really have time with you. But now just the love of coaching. And you never know. I started my junior year, and I got good really fast. Now, obviously, I can analyze wrestling really well, and I watched a lot of it. But now I feel like if I'm really doing a good job with my videos and how I'm coaching and how I'm teaching and using other guys to teach technique, I should be able to deliver that value to anybody, right? It shouldn't only be in my head. I should be able to translate that to other people who also watch my videos, because that's the point of it, right? So I've had him for 2 months so far. His name is Chappie. I've had him for 2 months so far, and he's made a lot of progress. He's really good right now at the underhook. At the shrug by. So the slide by variation, where you only use your forearm and look away, not snaking your arm through. We've been working really hard on the underhook throw by. I just sent him my video, 29 underhook attacks, I believe I put from the 2024 World Team Trials. Sent him that video. Obviously, he watches my videos. I made some exclusive videos for him that I'm going to go over later to try to expedite the learning process, obviously. So the problem with a lot of first year wrestlers in general, and then especially when you get up to the light heavyweight and heavyweight guys, is a lot of times they're not very offensive. So we've been focusing a lot on attacks. I've been focusing on low risk attacks. So short buys, he's getting really good at the underhook throw by. And then head outside snatch singles, head inside snatch singles. I prefer the head inside variation because it negates their sprawl, which at that weight class obviously matters a lot. I mean, any weight class, the sprawl matters, but at that weight class, you definitely don't want to get in bad position and get sprawled on. We've been working on shot recovery as well, but I feel like head inside shots allow you to negate the sprawl when you put your forehead in your rib cage, as well as a lot of guys have the tendency when you do a head inside snatch, they'll pull you up off the leg, but then they're giving you the body, so they're giving you the body lock or the bear hug. I have a clip of one of my heavyweights who was a kind of a first year wrestler using that at Disney Duels.
Always better get pins.
I didn't even mean to do that.
So you guys saw what I was talking about there. So that's the type of things we've been working on. A little bit feet to back technique so far. Last practice, so I'm recording this Thursday. I have practice with him today. Last practice on Tuesday, I showed the drop whip over. You guys know I love that throw a lot. I'm thinking that I'm gonna be showing him the cruncher grip as well. That the one that Ed Scott, Isaac Trumbull, the one those guys do a lot. Quentin Wright from Penn State many years ago, he did it. So I'm going to be showing that because we're already getting really good at that underhook position. And you have an underhook collar tie, all you do is lock your hands. And there's a lot of options from there, right? So that's how I'm going to be coaching. There's not a lot of tournaments in Jacksonville, Florida in the off season. It's not a big wrestling area. But I just found a tournament on November 9th at Camden High School in Georgia. It's in Georgia, but it's like right next to Florida. It's only an hour away. So on November 9th, we should be going to that one. And then November 16th, we should be going to Yulee, which is also an hour away. That's in Florida, but it's like at the edge. So getting 2 tournaments in before the actual season starts, the actual season schedule starts, because our first tournament of the season is like December 6th or something like that. So just getting that extra mat time in, I think that will go a long way. I will be posting his progress after those tournaments. But yeah, so like I said, I made exclusive videos for him to look at, high school guys. So I made 3 videos. One video was on a 220-pound state runner-up from Florida who I saw a few years ago. He had a really good snatch single. And I showed it to my guys. I showed it to my heavyweight that I also made a video on that I'm going to get to. And we picked it up fast. His snatch was timed really well. Now, the heavyweight I coached, he eventually at the state tournament started shooting and hitting his knee, right? So he had a pretty good double leg. He hit his knee, shot, and it benefited him a lot at the state tournament. That's why he was able to place as essentially a first year. He was a junior. He didn't wrestle his sophomore year, but he came out for a couple weeks during his freshman year. So it's kind of like that, but he progressed really well. And I made him that video so he can kind of see, hey, this is possible. I can learn this in the next few months. If you guys saw the video, it's nothing to be super impressed by. And sometimes looking at only collegiate guys and freestyle guys, sometimes high school kids can have a disconnect with that. Not all the time. It's still better than, if you're just learning a technique, it's good to show them that it works at the highest level. But with a kid like this who's a first year, second year, sometimes they need to see kids who they can relate to a little bit more, right? Because they know how new they are. Right, so I also had a 220-pound state runner up 2 years ago. I showed him some stuff from him. He was really good at top, arm chin spin, gable to a pin, doubles, double leg to body lock. He pinned his way to the state final using that. Russian tie shovel, Russian tie snap. And I also made a video on the heavyweight I mentioned earlier, who did a lot of different things. And the idea behind the videos are, nothing replaces mat time, but kind of trying to expedite that mat time, right? He's learning for these guys. He's taking their experience and all the steps they took, and you can see their progression in some of their matches. And he's learning from them and saying, okay, this works. This is the mistakes Alonzo said they're made. A lot of coaches tell stories about, hey, I had a guy a few years ago who did this, but it's not the same as singing it. And I know most coaches are not going on floor wrestling and recording high school matches and making videos specifically for their kids, right? So those are unlisted videos. They're not public videos, but if you've already joined the Earn Your Gold community and you want access to those videos, just comment down below and I'll post them in the Earn Your Gold community. That way, if you're a coach and you have a 215-pounder or a heavyweight who you want to send the videos to, they will benefit from those videos a lot. Even if you're a parent who obviously have a 215, 285-pounder, or you're yourself the 215, 285-pounder, just comment down below if you're a part of Earn Your Gold community. Post in that community and you have access to it, right? And even if your kid doesn't have access to it, if you're the coach or the parent, you can just copy the link and send it to them. They'll still be able to watch it, right? So just in case you're curious about seeing those. But yeah, I just want to update you guys. I think it'd be a fun way to kind of follow along how I'm coaching somebody. And he's a blank slate as well, so that's another cool thing about it. But trying to get him those basic tie-up attacks, low risk attacks that I always talk about. Low risk, highly effective. I think those are the easiest attacks to teach and get fast, get good and fast, as well as a lot of coaches try to get these kids to shoot, do leg attacks. And we've been working a lot on double legs, high crotches, where you actually hit your knee on the mat. But I know the learning curve with that. I've been coaching for some years. I know the learning curve with that, and it's a lot of times you take a whole year, take a whole season just to kind of get them starting there. And he doesn't have that time, right? He's a first year senior and he's trying to do well this season. He's dedicated. He stays after practice. He's excited to I just found out about these 2 tournaments and he's excited to go to these 2 tournaments. So he's working hard, man. He asks questions. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you guys to see it. If everything goes, I guess well, but well isn't just based on the result, right? It's based on obviously the experience the kid has and everything. But if it goes well from a consumer perspective, because if he goes 1-2 at regionals, you guys are honestly just being frank, won't care, right? But if he makes it to state, if he wins some matches at state, if he places at state, you're like, okay, there is some validity behind this. Now again, as you guys know, I'm in Florida. This is not for California guys, Pennsylvania guys. I know the thing, New Jersey guys. Well, that would never happen in our state. Well, a lot of states, if you place in Florida, you're probably placed in a lot of states. Florida is probably like top 15. Consistently have guys Super 32 level. When I was in high school, we had two guys win who's number one. So we have some pretty decent guys. We're not as deep as those other states though, right? So a lot of times we can be top heavy, but we're not very deep. But again, most states, I think Florida is most likely ahead of most states, right? Or at least equal to most states, not the ones you always see on floor wrestling. So I do think this will provide a lot of value for all coaches. I know a lot of teams, a lot of areas, man, kids start wrestling in high school. Start wrestling in high school. Everybody don't start wrestling at 6, 7, 8 years old in middle school. A lot of areas don't have youth programs. Again, like I said, I was exposed to it my 9th grade year, but my first school didn't have a coach. So then I transferred my 11th grade year, and then that was kind of like my first year. I was still learning stuff. All I knew was a half Nelson and kind of knew heel, toe, knee, kind of, right? Barely knew that. So, yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like I said, I've been rambling on, but like I said, this is the first video in the series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.